Now let us see what are the inputs and outputs of pre-layout static timing analysis. So generally there will be two types. First one is pre-layout, second one is post-layout. So simply pre-layout means it is before placement and routing. Post-layout means it is after placement and routing. Means here we are using post-routed database. Here we are using pre-routed. Pre-routed database means routing is not done. So first let us see what are the inputs and outputs of pre-layout STA. In the next videos I'll tell you what are the inputs and outputs for post layout static timing analysis. So coming to the inputs, first input is .lib, next is gate level netlist, third one is constraint. So these three are the inputs which are given to STA engine so that we will get output as timing reports and log files, whereas these three are inputs. Now let us see in detail about libraries, gate level netlist and constraints. So here these three are the inputs: libraries, that is .lib, gate level netlist and Synopsys design constraints, which is .sdc. Coming to first input, that is liberty file. So here .lib means library. So timing library is technology specific and contains informations like functionality, power, area and timing for all the cells used by synthesis to create a gate level netlist. If you have not watched my previous videos on synthesis, please go through that video, then you will understand how we are getting gate level netlist. So generally these cells comprises of standard cells, IOs, IO means input and output, memories, which acts as building blocks. Generally these .libs are developed by using standard cells or IOs or else memories. If it is based on standard cells, it is done by the team called as standard cell characterization engineers, and for IO also there will be separate team, and for memories like SRAM and all there will be memory characterization team. The timing characteristics of these cells is captured in the form of delay table through a process called as characterization. As I told you, there are teams called as standard cell characterization and memory characterization and IO characterization. So these teams are responsible for providing .libs. So typically over 10,000 simulations are run for the cells in the library. The library might comprises of over 300 cells. So whenever we are getting new tech node, we will be drawing all the schematics of all the cells and layout team will be drawing the layouts of all the cells. Then we will be extracting the parasitic data either in the form of SPEF or DSPF. If it is from the schematic, it will be in the form of CDL. Now these things will be given as an input to the characterization engine, where they will be having a particular flow. By using that, these .libs will get generated. In .lib file contains cell delay, capacitance value, transition time, setup and hold time. So all these informations will be present in the .lib. Liberty files can be characterized based on two models, that is NLDM and CCS. Here NLDM stands for non-linear delay model and CCS stands for composite current source. CCS model is more accurate compared to NLDM model, as there are more simulation points in the CCS model, and in NLDM mode there are a fewer simulation points. So basically in .lib, information related to time, voltage, leakage power, input and output threshold and output load are present. So if you want detailed information about this, you can check the playlist called as standard cell characterization in my channel. Coming to second input, that is gate level netlist. The design is represented by gates connected in a specific manner to achieve the desired functionality. So is the output of synthesis. So this gate level netlist is the output of synthesis and is technology specific. Mapped to technology, the design is fabricated. Suppose if you are with 90 nanometer, then you need to give .lib of 90 nanometer, then your RTL code will get mapped to the cells which are present within this .lib. Suppose if it is 45 nanometer, then you have to give the .lib of 45 nanometer. So generally you will get gate level netlist, that is RTL code will be converted into gate level netlist, and this is done during synthesis stage. So check my previous video on synthesis, then you will understand how this RTL is getting converted into gate level netlist. Gate level netlist can also be obtained from a place and route tool and is used in STA to run post layout timing analysis. As I told you earlier, there will be two types. One is pre-layout, another one is post layout. If it is pre-layout, it should be performed using gate level netlist that we are getting out of synthesis. If you want to perform post layout, then you have to go for post routed database. That is, you will get the routed database after performing PNR, that is placement and routing. Next, gate level netlist is in structural Verilog or VHDL format. Generally, we are writing the RTL codes in Verilog or else VHDL, but majority of the cases we will be using Verilog. So go through this particular video on synthesis, then you will understand how we are getting gate level netlist. Coming to the third input, that is SDC, called as Synopsys design constraint. The process of setting timing targets that a design must meet is called constraining the design. Constraints are derived from design specifications and captured in the TCL format. Here TCL stands for tool command language format or HDC format using HDC commands. I'll show you what are these HDC commands in the next slide. HDC file is used to define the various constraints of an ASIC like operating frequency, power constraints and area. Different EDA tools use HDC for the analysis and synthesis of design. Here EDA stands for electronic design automation, HDC stands for Synopsys design constraints. The HDC file is written in the language called as TCL, that is called as tool command language. So you can see here these are different HDC commands called as create clock, create generated clock, set clock uncertainty and so on. So first you have to understand all these HDC constraints. For this I will make a separate video in the upcoming lectures. As of now, just for the understanding purpose, I have included all these HDC commands. Like these are the different types of commands that are used. So in the upcoming videos I will explain each and everything with an example. We have already seen this particular diagram in my previous video. So let us see it once again. For the timing report, constrain the following parts, that is input to register, register to register, register to output and input to output. So this is path number 1, this is path 2, path 3 and path 4. I have clearly mentioned what are those paths and what we call them as. So this is how we will write HDC constraints. So here create clock hyphen name clock hyphen period 2 means 2 nanoseconds, and for which port we are applying, it is for clock port. And similarly there will be one more HDC command called as set input delay, that is max input delay can be 0.8 and it should be with respect to clock gate ports input. So generally input delay and output delay we will be giving it with respect to something called as virtual clock. So here this will be with respect to something called as virtual clock. First I will explain you what is meant by virtual clock, then you can understand all these HDC commands in detail. So generally this input delay will be in 40% of clock time period. So here I am taking clock time period as 2 nanoseconds. So here this is 2 nanoseconds. So you can take 40% of 2 nanoseconds. So 2 nanoseconds into 40%, you will get this particular value. Next, coming to set input transition. So input transition means it will be like this. Input transition, generally we call these as transitions. Please check the videos in standard cell characterization playlist so that you will be understanding all these basic terminology. So set input transition 0.2. So this transition will be 0.2 nanoseconds and it is for all the inputs that are present in your RTL code. Next, coming to load. Load is something that is seen at the output. So load will be 0.1 and it is for all the outputs. So just I've kept one snippet of HDC constraints. In detail we will be trying to understand all these in the upcoming lectures. So till now we have seen inputs, that is .lib, gate level netlist and HDC constraints. Now let us see what are the outputs of pre-layout static timing analysis. So we get outputs as timing reports and log files. So coming to the outputs, timing reports and log files are outputs from STA. Timing reports contain information about the time taken by a signal to propagate through the design, timing parts under consideration, design constraints and exceptions being considered and much more. There will be something called as timing exceptions like false path, multi-cycle path, case analysis. Like this, few HDC commands will be there. We'll be seeing those in the upcoming videos. Next, log files. Log files contain information on runtime warnings and errors encountered by the tool. It is a good practice to review them for any errors and warnings prior to analyzing timing reports. So static timing analysis is non-vector based analysis technique which forms timing paths defined by start and end points to aid in analysis. In the previous video we have seen what is meant by start points and end points. Go through that video so that you will be understanding these points. So for understanding purpose I am taking one timing report, and here report underscore timing is a command that is used. So generally timing report contains the following terminology. It contains begin point, that is called a start point, and end point. So begin point means from where timing path starts, end point means the point at which timing path is ending. So we need these two, that is starting point and ending point. Analysis view, whether a design is working in a specific condition or not, that is mode of operation, PVT corner and RC corner. So here modes of operation means like it will be like functional mode, scan mode, test mode and so on. And similarly PVT corner, that is process voltage and temperature corners, and RC corners. So generally this PVT corners is for delay and RC corners is for net delay. Next, coming to required time, that is the time at which the data is required to be present at the pin. Arrival time means the time at which the data arrives at the pin. And coming to slack, slack is nothing but the difference between these two, that is required time minus arrival time will give the slack. And coming to latency, generally latency will be of two types, that is source latency and network latency. So here time taken by a clock signal in traveling from its source to sync pin is called as latency. Source latency and network latency will be seeing in the next video. Coming to instance names, names of standard cells and macros, and cell delay of each instance. So these are the basic terminology that will be present in this particular timing report. Now let us see this report in detail. So you can see here report underscore timing space hyphen late will give setup timing report. So you can see here I have taken only one path. So here path is met, either you will get met or else violated. Only two messages you will get. First one is met, if not violated. So here met late external delay assertions. So as I told you, there will be 2 points called a start point and end point. So here the start point or begin point is X, end point is Y. Next, there will be some different kinds of path groups called as clock. Coming to analysis view. So here I have taken analysis view. So you can take either fast or else it can be slow. So depending upon the analysis view it will be showing. And coming to external delay and phase shift. So here phase shift means 10, means it is 10 nanoseconds. So generally if you take a clock time period, here the time period is 10 nanoseconds. So this phase shift is 10 nanoseconds and required time is 7.5. So this required time we are getting, this is nothing but the difference between these two, that is 10 minus 2.5 will give 7.5. And arrival time, this is the value. In order to calculate slack, simply take the difference between required time and arrival time. So if you take the difference between these two, you will get this value. Next, coming to clock rising edge. So the clock is rising at 0 and input delay. So input delay means it is coming from some external point, that is 2.5, and begin point arrival time. So overall if you add these two, you will get this particular value. And these are this is the instance and these are the arcs and this is a cell. So and 3x1. So here and here I am using 3 input AND gate, and here x1 is called as a drive strength. So the delay for that is 0.296, and these are the arrival times and these are the required times. Next, coming to hold timing report, here the command is report timing hyphen early. So here the path is met, and here starting point and ending points, here is the begin point and this is the end point, and path group is clock, analysis view is fast. Again same thing, here phase shift is 0. So if you want required time, simply you need to add these two, that is phase shift plus hold, that is 0 plus minus 0.004 will give minus 0.004. Coming to arrival time, so here you can see the final arrival time. And slack is nothing but the difference between arrival time and required time. So you need to understand these basic terms called as setup and hold. In setup it is called as required time minus arrival time. In hold it is called as arrival time minus required time. So here arrival time is 0.144 minus required time. So required time is minus of minus, it will become plus 0.004. So if you calculate this, 8410. So it is slack is 0.148. Next, clock rising edge is 0 and network latency is 0. So if you sum up those, you'll get begin point arrival time as 0. And these are the number of instances that are present, and these are the arcs. If you see here, this is from register to register. So it is from register, that is from clock pin of sequential circuit to data pin of sequential circuit. So it is register to register timing path, and these are the cells that are present. So between these two registers, I'm having one buffer, one adder, and NOR gate. Here also NOR. XL means drive strength. Remember this. Here XL is called as drive strength. X2 is called as drive strength. Whereas D flip flop, this is register. Buffer is a gate. Here ADD, this is called as an adder, and here NOR is a gate. And here this will give the delay of that particular cell, and this is the total arrival time that it will get calculated. So initially 0 plus 0.046 will give this value, again 0.046 plus this value will give 0.081. so this one plus 0.21 will give 0.101 plus this, so on, like this value will get calculated, and these are the required times. So for understanding purpose, I am showing you how a timing report will be in case of setup and in case of hold. As we have seen this one, be clear with start point, end point analysis views, and terminology of required time, arrival time, slack, latency, and instance names. If you want a video, I'll make a video on required time, arrival time, slack, and latency, so that it will be clear for you to understand. So here we have seen what are the inputs and outputs of pre-layout static timing analysis. In the upcoming videos, I will explain what are the inputs and outputs for post-layout static timing analysis.